U.S. since 2002. Elle completed her MBA in marketing and built a successful marketing career. She left the corporate world to pursue her true passion of impacting and helping people realize their true potential. Elle is a founder of Women of the World Network, best-selling author, John Maxwell team leadership trainer and speaker, an entrepreneur, and a mother. Elle always wanted to maintain her authenticity and who she was, and this is a core reason for creating the Women of the World Network, where she supports and unites other ladies to help them promote their identity, uniqueness, authenticity, and brand. Welcome, Elle. I'm so pleased to have you here.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Thank you so much for having me. Great to see you.
So let's dive right in. I wanted to talk to you today about leadership and how important that is for entrepreneurs. And honestly, the fact that this is something that's rarely, if ever, addressed in training or conversations. We focus a lot on hard skills, learning how to do your book or learning how to streamline your operation. So can we talk a little bit about leadership? And
Absolutely. That's one of my favorite topics. I love talking about leadership, and I think there are so many ways that we can watch leadership and be leaders and exhibit those leadership qualities that sometimes I think we forget. And as women, I mean, taking us as mothers, even without the professional side of it, we already are exhibiting those qualities at home, right? And then adding to that side of things. So I love talking about leadership.
okay, so leadership consists of a lot of different skill sets. There are a lot of things that go into being a leader, and there are a lot of different leadership styles. So can you talk a little bit about what qualities, maybe the top 2 or 3 things that you feel like encompasses effective leadership?
Yes, absolutely. I'll talk about three.
Oh, perfect.
So the first one, I believe, one of the important ones, I think, is remembering that as leaders, sometimes we are in different positions. Sometimes we are leading, and sometimes we are serving. And I think that's important to remember. And we are not managers, right? We are at the forefront, but then we also need to be sometimes we need to be in the back, if you would, or doing some of the other work, and that's how we become true leaders, right? The second one, I believe, is flexibility, and that's my favorite one. I think it's so important for us to remember to be flexible with life situations, with people that we meet and work with. Even this morning, with technology that we experience, right? And it always goes, or with my story coming here, and experiences this weather conditions that unexpectedly happened. I did not plan for that. I did not expect for that, and in the middle of it, we launched the book and everything. And this is just an example of being flexible, of staying flexible, and remembering, be on top of things in the moment without maybe succumbing to the maybe emotional states or disappointments and things like that. But I know it's easier. Sometimes it's easier said than done.
I
So I
think,
think. Mhm.
no, go ahead. I was just going to comment on that. The second point, that I do believe that one of the great qualities of leaders is the ability to be flexible and meet unexpected circumstances. That's always being able to know when it's time to flex a plan or move your priorities around is definitely something that is one of the top qualities for a leader, in my
Definitely.
opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree. And I think that's why, seeing it in my own experience and in other ladies' experience, I think that's why I just love how that shows itself. how it develops in us, right? The more we grow, the more we develop. So that's number two. And number three, I think, is integrity. There's so many good ones, but those are the three ones I want to talk about today. And so integrity is another one, the number three one. When we say something, when the way we show up, the way we do things, the way we say things, and then we said that, and then we do that what we said, right? And again, sometimes life happens to each one of us, circumstances happen, but staying true to our word, that's how people will perceive you, and those who follow you, those who work with you day to day. So integrity, and sometimes being okay with being vulnerable is part of it. Part of it being you, and just things happen, and as long as we are open and truthful to ourselves first and foremost, that shows up in day-to-day situations, and in day-to-day challenging situations when we have to deal with in our lives as leaders. So the
Yes.
three ones I would like to point as one of one of the most important ones as well.
Mm-hmm. I absolutely agree with all of those. And of course, there are other qualities as well. And how I believe that leaders, there are innate qualities in being a leader, but I do believe that a lot of these, like so many other skills, can be taught. That you can learn and grow as a leader over time. I think, again, most of the time it's neglected, but it's one of those things where you can have a successful business, moderately successful, all of those things, and honestly stumble around. Learn how to take care of all the hard skills, all of that, but to retain and grow your business and grow your employees or your team. I think you absolutely have to learn these leadership skills, learn the things that are going to take you to the next level and the level after that. Unfortunately, there's a point where sheer raw talent isn't the only answer, right? That will only take you so far.
Right. Exactly. Absolutely agree with that. Absolutely
Yeah.
agree with that.
So let's talk a little bit about your journey, who you are, where you came from, and how you got to where you are now, and how that would apply to somebody who's just either starting out in business or they're preparing for like a next level growth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I am originally, like you said in the beginning, I'm originally from Kazakhstan, and I've been here almost 20 years now. And um, ever since I came here, I knew this country has so many opportunities, so many possibilities, and I was kind of overwhelmed at the beginning. I want to do this, I want to do this, but I always knew that I want to be in business for myself. Like, I want to be working for myself. But I don't know how it's going to look like, what it's going to be, where to start from in the new country. And so I still went and finished my MBA, and then I went to corporate world. I was in a corporate world over 7 years in marketing, which gave me great marketing experience, and I loved it. It was a great experience. I achieved my goals, what I wanted. But at some point, I remember I kind of started thinking, okay, so this was it, and I wanted something that talked to me on a deeper level, and that talked to me contributing to others on a deeper level. So I wanted more fulfillment in my life, which was missing. And that's where it so happened that my company got sold out, and most of us were let go. And after that, I decided not to any more corporate life, and kind of went on my own. And I absolutely love what I'm doing today. I had a couple of businesses before, but today we're building Women of the World Network. We are growing and expanding, and all of that experience contributed to why I created this community in the first place. For those ladies who just came into the country, like me, having to start from point zero in their lives, personally, um, or those ladies who are from here and want to connect to the diverse ladies, right? International ladies, or ladies who come to this country want to connect to the local ladies and learn from them. So it works both ways, and so we are the bridge between those two cultures, of women, and sometimes generations as well. But that's what we are building with women of the world, and uniting. And we women, we partner, we collaborate so well. We are natural at collaboration. We belong naturally to communities. We thrive in communities. That's what our nature is. We always collaborations and partnerships, and that's another reason why wanted to create that, so that it helps others as well in their businesses. Maybe they are starting today, maybe they are considering their own business, starting their own business. I don't know where to start from, or what it is that they're going to be doing. So that's part of it. Definitely.
We talk a lot about community in CEO school, because small businesses, for my take on it, is that your communities are your boards of directors. It's actually, I think that you want a real board of directors that's your mastermind group or your smaller group. But I think that when you're looking for mentorship, when you're looking for connections, when you're looking for upgrades, having that kind of community around you is paramount. And I will say, it's not as prevalent as it used to be, but of course we all heard of the old boys club, and women, when they started out, and I can speak for myself, we didn't have that kind of community to draw from. So for women in particular, I think, but as again, it's times have changed. It's not so much that way anymore. But having that type of just a knowledge base, and having the support and mentorship from women who have walked that path before, makes a huge difference in your eventual success or failure in business, because you don't have to actually make all the mistakes yourself. You can rise on the shoulders of those who've been there before, who've gone down that path before you.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's also one of my favorite topics to talk about, where we learn from, and who we surround ourselves with. That is so true. And I know I notice a difference in my experience, but I know all of us do. It's a faster learning curve, right? Like you said, and learning from, and women are always willing to share that. And like you mentioned, there are so many great communities out there to learn from, and there is a lot of opportunities to learn from, depending if they resonate, or where they are in their journey in the business world journey, or business. Some ladies have, I know they are transitioning, they have full-time careers, and then they're transitioning into starting their own business, or maybe slowly transitioning to be full-time owner. And definitely that will, belonging to community, learning from those ladies who have done that, been there, can give you a solid advice, step by step. It just changes, and it in a lot of times it shortens the learning curve and the journey, maybe.
Yeah,
because
it really true.
Yeah, because with every level, there is something that we need to master to hit that next level, whatever it is in our lives. And all of us have the the mindset that need to be worked on, right? All of us. None of us is exempt from that? We all have
Unfortunately, no, no. There's always
right?
absolutely. So going back to talking about leadership, we can obviously you can get mentorship and from others, but when you are going to be the mentor or you are going to be the leader of your team, if we look at the three principles that you talked about in the beginning, can you give us some examples of how somebody might apply that in their business, looking at opportunities for training or looking for opportunities to give more responsibility or looking for opportunities uh, to actually guide the team to the next level, where you want to, your goals for the business that you're running.
Mhm. Yeah, I think, well, when it comes to staying flexible and being open in different situations, I think it creates that growth, that openness in the growth for us, and it's okay to don't. Sometimes I think it's okay to don't know how to deal with the situation, and even and sharing that with people that are working with you, and then when choosing people that are working with us, trusting them and knowing that we're not perfect, and staying open with those people that we work with. But if we are on the same page, I think there is more trust developed as well if we open about that from the get-go. If we clear about expectations from the both parties. If I'm clear what I'm expecting from the person I start working with, that wants to become a better leader, right? And they are clear with me, and I love getting feedback as well. I always welcome feedback, and so that's another thing. I think being open to that, those would be some of the important things for me, as we are building teams and growing our companies and expanding our teams. And you know um, sometimes it's hard to jump into. I'm not sure how many employees that one person has, for example, right? So sometimes it's hard to
Right.
jump into hiring right away, but I believe it helps both parties, but it also helps us in a lot of cases grow faster. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know what the budget there. I'm not sure what stage the business is, but that's what I've been learning a lot from my mentors for sure, and I've been seeing that as well in my own experience too.
What I've found is that number one is you need to hire the right people, and the right people are people. There's a whole hiring process we probably should go through on another topic, another video. But if you've got the right people, then you don't micromanage those people. They're the subject matter expert. You've hired them. Even if you know how to do a thing,
Right.
if you've hired the right person, that is their job. They know how to do it. So for me, I like to say, this is my goal. This is what I want to achieve. How would you go about it? And let them create that framework, let them own that project, the successes and the failures. And to be clear, it's painful when there's a failure, but it's a learning experience. And we aren't perfect, and I don't expect my team to be perfect. But if my team operated in good faith and they created something and it was off the mark or it didn't land the way it was supposed to, that's fine. We course correct, we do the next thing. But they have competence in the area that you expect, and you give them free rein. If you're micromanaging, for instance, for me, you haven't gained anything by having a team member. You
Right.
haven't gained the knowledge base that they have. You haven't gained the time that you're devoting to, to micromanaging the details. None of that stuff. And I'll use the analogy that if you have to check on the babysitter for your children, then you have the wrong babysitter,
The wrong
right?
babysitter,
You
right.
want to have somebody that you can trust with your children to handle that job. And if they can be trusted with your children, then you go out and you have dinner, you have a nice time, and you know you have the right person for that job is
Right.
basically.
Right.
And the other thing that I want to say on that topic is don't hire everybody that's just like you. You want different points of view. If you want your business to grow, then you need to specifically hire people who have different attributes than you do. You're not going to be 100% in every single area, and you need to recognize that.
Yes,
So, and hire accordingly.
absolutely. And I think it's important also match strengths of the person that comes in. So you want to be giving that person the strengths that they match the work before the job or job responsibilities that you expect has to match the strengths. If there is a strength in a specific area, giving them that task, and that improves their performance, maximizes, are they going to perform better, and things like that. I think that's so important. Whether the strength, there are so many good tests on strengths,
Absolutely.
that can. So I think that's important part of the hiring process as well.
That's actually that when I was in corporate, I might have somebody that was a brilliant team member and they weren't performing at where they were placed, but moving them to a different position with different responsibilities that tied to their strengths, they became a superstar. And that would happen more than once. So I think that's another thing to realize is that you may have made a poor, you can take responsibility for making a poor placement. But if your team member is a superstar you can replace them, place them in another place, not replace them, put them in a different position that will play to the strengths that they have and capitalize on that. But as a hiring manager, you do need to take responsibility for finding the right fit for your people. And this is whether we're talking about contractors, whether we're talking about employees that you've hired onto your team. We've talked about one-off assignments, all of those things. That's you're spot on. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I feel like, woo. So let's talk a little bit. If somebody wants to find out more about Women of the World or more about the programs that you do, the speaking that you do, how would they get a hold of you, Elle?
Yeah, so they can visit ellballard.com. That's my website, and womenoftheworldnetwork.com is our website. We have different kinds of meeting formats under our events page, on our events page, on that drop down menu. And so they can sign up for any type of events. We have masterminds, we have typical chapter events, we have business expos. But yeah, we always welcome guests, and come and check us out. But thank you so much, Kelly, for this
Absolutely
today.
I am going to ask you to put all of your contact information in the chat and give people a way to contact you, because I think particularly for Women of the World, the opportunity to network with women all around the country and internationally is a fabulous opportunity. And again, the masterminds, the webinars, all of the different opportunities that you offer would be great for people to check you out. So thank you again, Elle, and we hopefully will be speaking soon.
Thank you, Kelly. Bye.